question I get the very most is, where's your guitar store? This isn't a guitar store, this is my studio. And today, I'm gonna give you a tour before I close the doors forever. What you're looking at is 17 years of obsessing over everything. I absolutely am crazy, obsessed, dare I say, neurotic about all things music. And what you see here is my shrine. This is my lair where I create, where I go to be inspired, where I want to surround myself with the energy of my friends. From my favorite records framed on the walls to autographs from pretty much everyone I ever listened to growing up. I built a recording studio. My dad had this building with this big storage room, and I had always set up my drums and my digital recorder in there for years. And when he sold that building, I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do? I need a studio. I wanna be able to create at all times. I remember the first time I was ever in a recording studio thinking, oh my God, I can't afford to do what I want here. This is gonna take me forever. I'll have to become a doctor so I can become a musician, so I can pay for myself to do what's in my head. So I knew that if I built a studio, I could save money, record whenever I want, and never be limited other than by my time and by my personal inclination to get whatever accomplished. So I didn't need a house. But my mom said, you know what? If you get a house, you can build a recording studio and then you'll never have to leave. So I can walk downstairs with my kitty at 3 o'clock in the morning, smoking my joint in my underwear. And I hear that solo in my head and I can get it down right then and there. I can visit all of my amps. I can have the microphones already set up. What a novel idea, Mom. I agree. I looked at like 100 houses, something crazy, because the prerequisite for me was to have a non-livable basement that I could convert. That's a blank canvas to do this. When I got this place, this was a dirt floor with dead rats and rusted equipment from the 60s. So it was disgusting down here. My mom actually, piece by piece, helped lay down this floor, which is sticker. There was nothing here. This was all from scratch. So everything that you see here represents 17 years of me collecting, 17 years of me accumulating. But the reason I said I'm closing shop is because I actually have to take all of this stuff down. I have to put every single one of these guitars back in their cases, which are all up in my attic. I need to take every one of these pictures off the wall. I'm not sure if I got enough bubble wrap, because after 17 years of having this be my basement, I'm moving. When my now wife moved in 4 years ago, I was like, we'll get out of here in 6 months. Yeah, that didn't happen. With the pandemic, as a DJ, I went from making crazy money to, you can't go outside. I got financially leveled. I was stuck here, but I was content. I've been content because I spent so much time and effort on this place. But as my wife put it, she kind of moved into my shoebox. You have all these guitars everywhere, and meanwhile, she has shoes under the bed. If these were not all here from before, oh, believe me, I wouldn't have them. Fortunately, when my wife married me, she married all of this. She knows. She's also a nurse and saves lives and works her ass off, so she deserves a better place. So every time we looked at a house, in the back of my head, I thought, oh my God. What am I gonna do? The truth is too that this channel has been taking off. If you didn't notice, I've been spending a whole lot more time making these videos. For those that don't know, please go back and check out my video, how I got all of these guitars. And I'm a DJ. I DJ'd September and October last year. Did enough parties where I could buy myself 50 hours of time a week to work on nothing but this stuff. So I could turn this into a real thing, guys. Something real, you know, I could put food on the table and pay my electric bill. That's what I want to do. These episodes can take 40 to 50 freaking hours with all the pictures I throw in and all the edits and the sound, and I'm trying to make the production better. I have lighting, I'm getting more lighting. I'm doing all that for you, for me, for us, for all of this. This will be the last video you see on this channel where this looks like this. This is part of my brand. When people see this room, they know it's me. They know it's the Neurotic Guitarist because I've made a little layer. I've made my little spider web in the basement that's unlike anywhere else on earth. It's my own little piece of heaven. So when I looked for a new house, and trust me, my wife has been up all hours of the night, 7 days of the week, looking at every single house in our price range. And let me tell you, you can buy stuff that's condemnable in the range that we're looking at, because Boston, other than like San Francisco and Los Angeles and New York City, like it is so freaking expensive to live here. But this studio is an albatross around my wife's neck. Every time we look at a house, I'll go downstairs into the basement and go, there's not enough space for my guitars. There's not enough space for my amps. Why does it always have to be about you? Because I literally bought a house in the first place to build a studio. That was the most important thing to me. But that's the thing, you guys get me. There has to be a room for all of these. Where do I put all the cases? Is it gonna be climate controlled? I need to make sure I have the right relative humidity and no water gets in, because these are my children. While my wife was upset because she had no space, I've made the perfect space here. Everything is arranged just right. So take a look. This is actually a view of my new basement. Another blank canvas, and in fact, it's a bigger studio. The first thing I'm gonna do is recreate this room. I'm gonna take all of these pictures, I'm gonna take all the guitars, and I'm gonna make an even bigger Neurotic Guitarist room to film at. But in the meantime, this is all gonna start going away. So I may have to take a little bit of a hiatus for a few weeks, guys. So when you see me again, these guitars are gonna be gone. A lot of them. I'm gonna have to paint this whole room. Do I want an open house with a bunch of hooligans going through my stuff? No! This stuff all has to go bye-bye. I gotta make sure I can get this grand piano out in time to move into my new house. More important than having a dining room table was to have a grand piano, because I'm a classically trained pianist. It's one of the most important things to me, because I don't think a house is truly classy without a grand piano. You walk into these huge mansions, but it's like, where is your Steinway? Where's your Bosendorfer? So I thought I would take my camera around and walk around and just show you some of my stuff, some of the things that I'm gonna recreate at the new improved Speakeasy Studios. That's my recording studio, Speakeasy Studios. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting me. And I hope that you guys will continue to support me and understand that if you don't see a video up there on Thursday nights at midnight, it's simply because I'm all in boxes. I always want my studio to kind of be where all the energy of the people that inspire me. So when Charlie Watts died from the Rolling Stones, I made sure to go and buy a bunch of autographs so I could build a Charlie Watts shrine. So there's actually, I want to say 15 8x10s around here of just Charlie Watts. That's a set list from Biohazard from the first tour I ever played. I was in a band called Carve. We did a run with 40 Below Summer, American Head Charge, and my boys in Biohazard, signed by Billy and Evan Seinfeld. Gotta have the New Kids on the Block, right? Joey's always my favorite. Carol Kay. Look at that. Some more Charlie Watts. Madness is an All That Remains record I played on with my buddy Ollie Herbert. Rest in peace, rest in power. I did the Thunder Rolls in this studio. I wanted to make sure I put that on my wall. These are backstage passes I got when I worked at Ozfest 99, signed by Ozzy and Sabbath, by the guys in Damage Plan, so Vinnie Paul and Dimebag, another Ozfest. This is a 17th century frontispiece from a crazy book. Let's take a little run down all my guitars. Woo! And yes, I do move them around. Sometimes I feel like the feng shui needs to change. My friends in Steel Panther made this for me. The artwork is uncanny. Slash. You know, Bruce Springsteen backstage passes. More Charlie, signed by Rob and John Five, who's now in Motley Crue. One of the first Slipknot press kits. But my guitar nerd friends will appreciate this. Paul Gilbert, and Every Christmas Has Love. Handwritten and signed by Mr. Gilbert. With a little reindeer picture and some pics. I have a ton of artwork from Paul Lorenzo. You know, the guy that you see play guitar, also played drums in my band. Look at how badass his artwork is. Pretty cool. Dave Gilmore over here. Al Di Meola over there. Signed by one Al Di Meola. When you hear me playing in this room, it's usually on this angle, through that VHT 410. I actually like the sound of 410s versus 412. I don't know, it's kind of cool. My U-bass, this thing absolutely rocks. If you guys haven't played with a U-bass, this is one of the most fun things, and it sounds exactly like a bass when you plug it in. It's wild, considering it's the size of a baritone ukulele. My signed Ace Frehley Kiss mirror. Jason Becker guitars. One of the greatest guys in history, you got Mr. Rogers, signed by Mr. Rogers. Van Halen, 1984, signed by Van Halen. I collect artwork too, so this is a Norman Rockwell that I have, signed by Norman Rockwell. It's pretty freaking awesome. Signed Evil Dead poster by one Bruce Campbell. I saw Tim Curry on Broadway. How awesome is that? Al Pacino, Johnny Depp. This is a promotional record from Les Paul in a very, very early 8x10 for him. I'm not particularly emotional about keyboards, but having something like a Moog, depending on who you talk to. This is a Korg MS-2000B. It's one of the coolest sounding keyboards ever. Old school vocoder on it. I love all things Yamaha. Yamaha makes just some of the greatest keyboards. Got a vintage Roland that's pretty freaking awesome. I like making noises. It's not a studio without your gold record. So thanks to All That Remains. And some more Charlie Watts. Queen, John Petrucci. That's one of the things I love the most in my whole studio is my signed Freddie Mercury record. I got these about 25 years ago. These are actually pictures of Iman, the model who was married to David Bowie, by David Bowie. The first Metallica flyer, signed by Ron McGovney, nonetheless. That's ridiculous. Signed Pantera record, presented to Benny Goodman to commemorate 500,000 copies of Scotty Doesn't Know. You know that movie? Eurotrip, Scotty Doesn't Know? Paul comes over here at least once a week and we rock out. I'm just as crazy about microphones as I am about guitars, so a nice pair of match C12s. Whole room of amps. I've spent 17 years making this what it is. It's a representation of my entire love for music and how things are made. Reverence for sound. I moved a bunch of my acoustics here because this room was a little bit more humid. Because I live in New England, so it's crazy. This has been my life. I, like an ant, have taken one thing at a time, brought it down here, and made this into what it is. I plan on documenting taking this all down because it's but look, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys have been so supportive. Please keep helping spread the word. Please understand that I literally lose sleep at the idea that I wouldn't be able to make you guys videos as fast as I can. So just bear with me because 2024 is going to be the biggest year yet. I have some incredible guests. You know all of them. You know every single one of them that are going to be on this show. I have some insane guitars coming, and I have the help of my friends at Sam Ash, at Martin Guitar, at Gibson Guitar, at Paul Reed Smith. They've all been, just like you, great to me. So stay tuned, because it's going to look a whole lot different around here. Why don't you smash that subscribe button already?